we have any questions? Sir. Yep.
Thank you. Senator Suzio, recently you participated in a bit of political theater concerning gas prices and a gas station where a super PAC connected to the Koch brothers subsidized to the tune of several dollars each gallon of gasoline. Does this mean you are committed to supporting the Koch brothers' agenda of tax measures to benefit not the 1%, but the 0.6 of 1%, and the elimination of federal estate taxes and other taxes? To the tune, the Koch brothers would benefit by those provisions to the tune of tens of billions of dollars.
A short question, please.
Well, I'd like your response to that, and then I would ask your opponent's response.
Of course, I was there at that event for one reason only, and that was because I'm upset and concerned about Connecticut's gas tax policy. The rally itself was sponsored by the Americans for Prosperity, and they were focused on national energy policy and how it's affected gas prices. It had nothing to do with anything else. And I don't believe in shooting the message because you don't like the messenger, which is kind of what you're suggesting. Every family in Connecticut, rich, poor, middle class, or whatever, would benefit by lower gas prices. That's what I was advocating for. And I was pushing the idea that next year, on July 1st, the biggest tax increase in the history of the petroleum gross receipts tax, the second hidden tax on gasoline in Connecticut, is scheduled to go into effect. Now, we're already reeling from $4 a gallon gas. Why in the world should the state of Connecticut impose another increased tax on the hard-pressed people and families of Connecticut? I was calling that to the attention of anyone who came there, and I was asking them, call the governor and ask him to initiate the legislative action that's going to be required to stop that tax increase from happening. So that affects everyone and every family in Connecticut.
Thank you. While I absolutely would love to see gas prices go down, I have 2 vehicles that we fill up twice a week just to get my children back and forth to school and to do all that we do. I also believe equally strongly that an elected official has a responsibility to follow a moral and ethical line and to make sure that we are not treading over that line. Based upon campaign financing laws and based upon the fact that we have both accepted campaign financing grants, we have certain rules that we need to follow. We are not allowed to do any coordinated campaigning. We are not, just bottom line, we are not allowed to do it. By being part of an advertisement for the event and by being present at the event and by campaigning at the event, that line was crossed, and I don't support that.
Another question.
Right here. I wanted to ask about insurance, a question here. The Connecticut State Employees Health Plan is now a model plan with strong incentives for prevention and wellness and a 0% increase in the last 2 years. Currently, towns and cities can join that plan, and there's a hope that small businesses could too. As a legislator here, would you encourage the towns in your district to join the state health insurance plan and to open it up for small businesses?
The cost of insurance is out of control, and we need to get a handle on that. I believe wholeheartedly that every single resident has the right and the need to have affordable, quality access to health care. I believe and support the idea of pooling and allowing small businesses and individuals to participate in that. As far as municipalities, it would have to be a concerted decision with the municipalities on whether or not to join, but they should have the ability to join as well, individuals and small businesses. We need to make sure that everyone has access to health care. Some in the industry say it's a right. I believe it is the right thing to do.
Thank you. Legislation was passed a year ago which does allow municipalities and their sub-entities to participate in the plan. There's roughly, I think, 169 municipalities in the state of Connecticut, and if you count all their subdivisions like the boards of education and the housing authorities, etc., you're talking about a potential pool of, let's say, over 500 entities that could join it. So far, does anyone know how many have joined it? Anyone have an idea? Anyone want to guess? Three. The Bristol Housing Authority was one. There were two small towns in Connecticut. I think one was I can't remember. There was Union, I think, was one. And one of the reasons is this: while the plan is a superb plan, as the questioner pointed out, one of the problems is it's pretty expensive. Even though it's a plan that is designed to try to lower costs, because the benefits are so extraordinary in it, it's not a cheap plan. And many municipalities in Connecticut are self-insured, like my hometown Meriden is self-insured. Now they're struggling as it is to meet healthcare costs or healthcare insurance costs of all their employees to begin with. For them to join a plan, which right now actually costs them more money, is just, in these hard economic times, doesn't make sense. I think there's a lot of things that can be done to address it, but I don't have enough time to talk about that. I'll talk to you afterwards.
Actually, you had a question. A brief question.
Yes, I'd like to remind the gentleman that the Democrats were at that event as well. Maybe Dante suffers from the same short memory that I happen to suffer from, but with all respect, Dante, you were there as well as a whole bunch of Obama supporters. So if you're talking
Sir, do you
about
have a
crossing
question?
campaign lines, you know, you were crossing that line as well.
Do you
Yes,
have a
Senator, my question is, with the prevalence, it seems, the absurd prevalence of criminals that are abusing more and more children and with missing children, I understand that the Democrat state legislature is in favor of early release of child abusers and child molesters. How do you feel about that, Senator?
Well, I am glad somebody asked that question, because I can say a lot about it, and I have said a lot about it. 1 minute. So I gotta say this in 1 minute. First of all, the program from the get-go, we had a huge debate. Multiple amendments were offered by the Republicans to get rid of the violent criminals as being eligible, including rape of a child, which was declined by the Democratic majority on a straight party line vote. No one can claim that they voted for this law not understanding that it didn't involve violent criminals, rapists, sexual predators, etc. Now, I am asking the governor to immediately suspend the program, not wait till next year. We can't wait till next year. We've already got 8,000 criminals released on the street. Hundreds of criminals have already committed crimes, including 2 murders that we know of. I wish I had the time to explain what happened in the rest of the situation, but I can tell you right now, he definitely was forced, they were forced to let him go before he was ready to go because of the new law, because he had served time. And I'll stick around and I'll answer anybody's question in much more detail about that, but that law is a scandal and it's got to stop now.
As the gentleman in the back knows, because he was one of the organizers, I stayed on the fringes
I wasn't one of the
and was
organizers, I was-
interviewed.
Your question time is done. Please let her finish.
I stayed on the fringes, I was interviewed, I did absolutely no campaigning. So, as far as the risk reduction credit program, I actually am the first and the only person to have put forth a detailed proposal on how I believe that the law needs to be amended. I believe there are serious flaws. I've said repeatedly I have grave concerns about this program. I have put forth, after speaking with my husband who's a police officer, with multiple people who are working corrections, and with prosecutors, there do definitely need to be revisions to this law. I do not approve of the way it is currently set up, and I would absolutely